Topic number 2 tonight is, can other races of people be Pan-African? And I really want to hear from you guys in the chat on this one. This one you could answer without seeing any video yet. But I'm going to play the video that comes with it. We'll talk about it after.
To me, shouldn't necessarily even involve white people. White people were the oppressors. They were the thieves. I sit here as a white person, like every other white person in this country, and I enjoy the benefits daily of land theft and of what's happened previously. So the fact that black people are actually even asking for our opinion in returning land is, I said, a sign of their humanity. What we see counterbalancing that is a lack of inhumanity amongst white people to even acknowledge their role in this, to take culpability, to look at their lives and say, every day I sit here, I benefit, I'm a child of privilege. And I always will be. That they look upon black poverty as if it's something divorced from them, rather than as a direct creation of their own activity. And as you've seen, I've had an outrage from Twitter, which doesn't worry me at all. I find it just a confirmation once again that white people are not prepared to make any adjustments in their lives. And perhaps black people should stop putting their faith in white people, that they're going to change anything.
Thank you for watching Forced Camera Action. Before
All right, there was a lot of Christianity in that, but I do like a lot of the quotes that they pulled in there. And I didn't like the Jane Elliott quote of we need a colorblind society. That kind of covers up the issue. Jay, what say you to what you just saw and to the prompt, which is, can other races of people be Pan-African?
Yeah, I they can serve black people. They can live in a black superior world, but to be part of it, of course not. No, no.
So Jay, do you believe in the white ally?
No, no. I believe in white existence.
Mm.
They exist. You know, that's what I believe in. I mean, I see them. I interact with them in life if I have to.
Right.
But can they be Pan African? No. I think it's nonsense to bring up that everybody comes from the African continent, because in those days, if you believe in evolution, in those days we were closer to monkeys than what we are now. So why bring up that everybody comes from the African continent? No, no. So no, no. Only we can be Pan African. The people that are called African nowadays can only those can be Pan African. And to be honest, I have at least one grandparent that is white,
Mm-hmm.
the father of my mother, and I don't count myself in. I rather count myself in as a helper. I am a helper of the black race, because I'm not 100% black anymore. But a white person, no.
I feel you on that, Jay. In the chat, the Pro Black Perspective says he's here. Let me just drop the link again. For anyone who wants to join the panel tonight. Lero says, Jay got me weak with, quote, I believe in white existence. Laughing my ass off. Afro Native World is here. Afro Native World says, Kwame Ture said Fidel Castro was one of the greatest Pan-Africanists. Gaddafi is also revered as one of the greatest Pan-Africanists. This isn't my position, but many self-identified Pan-Africanists make these statements. Yeah, a lot of people rate Gaddafi and stuff like that highly. Ultimately, Gaddafi, I mean, he did some good things on the continent, I guess, through his religion. What's that? John Canoe or something outside? Hold on a second. Yeah, Mans and them making a bunch of noise. But he was ultimately really an opportunist, Islamic opportunist. Lero says you can support the endeavor, I guess, of some like revolutionary sentiment, but it's irrelevant to me. The forecast is here. The forecast says a wise brother I know said they are more Pan African than we are because they see us as one big Negro. You guys could probably hear these Negroes outside busting firecrackers for 4th of July. It's just embarrassing. Let me welcome in Oni to the chat. Oni, how are you this week?
Well, we know that's your firecrackers. Why are you trying to blame?
That's me. That's me with a sparkly in my hand in the background.
Yo, you see the Negroes like, yeah, we see you. Nah, nothing. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't know if you know, there's the International African Arts Festival going on this weekend.
Oh right, damn it. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oni, can I ask you real quick? Did they charge you to go this weekend?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to like. I was finna not go because they was talking about 15, but it was just 5. You know. Um, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
like
because they're on that thing trying to be like Afropunk, charging you all this big money.
yeah, I thought it was. I thought it was. I was almost, but like I went to the website and they were like, it's $5. Like they, I think they realized ain't nobody showing up for no 15 or 60 or whatever they were trying to charge. But yeah, it was. It was. I mean, I went through. It was like, you know.
Okay, I
Yeah.
forgot again. Damn it.
Well, I mean, it's for another 2 days.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I might go there tomorrow. Uh,
My legs are tired from being there, but
okay.
yeah, it was a long day. But yeah, I was gonna remind you, but I just
Yeah, I forgot. But while you're here, only since you're with us, I guess you saw the video that I played, and the prompt says, "Can other races of people be Pan African?" What say you to that?
yeah, I missed that. I missed the prompt. I low key missed it. What I could say is I think somebody said that Dr. Clark was talking about how man put the sparkler down, man. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Dr. Clark was saying that other races of people is more Pan African than us. Because they can get together. But like again, like it's like to misunderstand what Pan Africanism is, you know. So one thing I noticed being at that event was that this environment here is very Pan Africanist, just like I think the effects that America does too. Because like low key, they started playing Electric Slide, and I was like, "Let's go run to this dance floor," you know what I mean? And like everybody, you see the Muslim lady, at the like the nation. I don't know if she was nation or another, but she seemed like she was the security for some reason. But yeah, she doing the electric slide. Everybody just jumping in, and you know, other people joining in on our movement. Like that only works when you got a really tiny movement. You know what I mean? Like if you like 5 people meet in the room, the 6th person might be some white boy, sure, or not white boy, but like some Arab or some shit, right? But like if we talking about mass nationalism, right? Like it's got to be just for us, you know, and whether or not there's these other people amidst that, maybe they're like 1%, maybe they're half of a percent, and it's like who's sweating them, like why are we so worried about the other people, like nobody like realistically, it's like these white boys, they're like they probably sat around in 1778 or whatever, talking about can a black person be American, right? And it's like they're like, yeah, maybe whoever, Clarence Thomas, right? Maybe Uncle Thomas could be American. Who knows? But like realistically speaking, they're not like they know it's a white identity. They know it. Like they knew it. It's like nobody cares. Like we just have to focus on what it is that we are bringing, what it is that we want to do, and then we just do that. Like who cares about these other people? Like when black folk care about these other people so much, it's embarrassing because nobody else cares about us this much.
I feel you on that. Just so you guys know, I'm muting my mic in between, while y'all are speaking, so that you don't have to hear all this firecracker noise in the back. Kevin Carey, what say you to this?
I can just quote. I can quote a scene, and you'll get my point. When Malcolm X was walking in Columbia University, and that white liberal girl talking about, hey, how can my people not come and help you? What can we do? He says nothing, and has kept right on moving.
Yep, you
That is
can't.
where I am.
Yep. These guys. Mr. Untouchable, what say you?
Yeah, I think I think that other races of people can be Pan-African, no doubt about it. And the reason why I say that is if if you think back in the 1940s, you know, the Western powers, so-called Western powers, they took black people from the United States, from the Caribbean, from France, and they put them in European wars all over the world to fight against Hitler. It was for a pan-European cause. And many people are proud of that. We have many people who are proud to be Anglophiles in the Caribbean. Very proud. If you can't even mention the Queen or the Crown in a bad or disparaging way without them getting very offended by it. Very offended. You know, you have some people, it ain't even the 4th of July yet, and they pop in they pop in fireworks on behalf of the Europeans that came to the Western Hemisphere and murdered and killed and did whatever they need to do to become not only Pan-African but a nationalist. And people will fight for that cause. Blackface people will fight for that cause, even though their ancestors were at the bottom of their ships. You know, they fighting for their causes and they celebrate their causes. You know, so they proudly wear these badges of honor. You know, so when I look at in the opposite direction as far as what people have done, you know, like the guy was mentioning Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro, he sent a significant portion of the black population in Cuba to Angola to fight against the Boers. You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's the level of Pan-Africanism, because the people who fought in the war was black, had black faces from Cuba, just like the Angolans themselves. And he had the idea to do that. You look at people like Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was a Gaviite. Ho Chi Minh was a Gavi, and he took a lot of his ideas back to Vietnam. You know what I mean? So I don't. My personal belief is, I think that for me it goes beyond, a little bit beyond skin, and it goes into ideologies, because it's what you identify with. You know, ideologically. For me, you know what I mean? And some people are willing to give up their lives for this idea of to be an Anglophile, that British crown. They was willing to give up their lives for that. Some people have given up their lives for Americanism. And John Brown gave up his life for for a black cause. You know what I mean? So for me, it goes beyond skin color. As far as Gaviitism, for me, it's a little bit more vanguardish. I glad it goes right on Gavi. But as far as Pan-Africanism and the goal of Pan-Africanism, which means for me, you know, the unification and the working together of people from black people from all over the world, I think that there are other people who will be willing to assist with that, you know, and greatly, you know. So I don't know. I take a different view, because I'm trying to look at the scope in an objective way. And if I was to have a nation state, or we used to have a Pan-African nation state, I would not necessarily say that I'm banning other racial groups from out of my country, because they could assist in the building of my country, as opposed to not allowing these people to come in. Now, if as long as they, just like when people coming from all over the world, you know what I mean, they have to have this idea of Americanism to work with in America. So if you come into my country or my continent, you have to work with me for my specific goal and aims and objectives. So I look at it a little bit differently, you know, for me.
Oh wait, let me say this though. By the way, Mr. Untouchable, you know I met Hassan Motep randomly. He was actually there. Isn't that crazy?
I couldn't hear you, bro. You sound like you're in the bathroom, bro. You have another mic?
Wait, I got another mic. Hold on. Right now, is it better?
Oh, it sounds like, I don't know. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said I met Hassan Motep. I know you sometimes watch his stuff, so I was just.
Oh yeah, man. He's a good dude, man. I like him, man. You met him?
Yeah, I was hearing that. Yeah, he was just sitting down.
Awesome. Very bright dude. Very bright dude.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah, I was, while Mr. Untouchable was speaking, I was trying to find this tweet that came to mind. Let me see. I think I found it here. This what's his brother name again? On Twitter he goes by Scully City, but he has another name on YouTube. I can't remember right now. He says, just to keep people from going full out crazy, but I would simply never at any cost allow my source of livelihood and power to ever be taken from me. When I look at the situation of Africa from this angle, I'm more inclined to believe we are not going to rise without a real cost. Now, why am I bringing that up? I'm bringing that up to say, me personally, I don't think we can really build and get to where we got to get to with other folks up in the mix. I kind of have the Gaviite mindset of you got to get these other people out of the mix and do this yourself, else these other people will sabotage you. Why? For what Scully City is saying here, it's like these people understand where their power is coming from. They might disagree with some of the tactics and stuff that the people are putting down, but for the most part, but these folks understand that their whiteness is based on their power, and their power is based on exactly what your boy is saying on the screen right here. And so me personally, I have a distrust of others. I'm not saying that we must only take in the people that look like us. I do believe it has to be on something deeper, like ideologies, etc. But I'm not trustful of others in terms of being Pan-African. That's just me. Does anyone have anything else they want to say to that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
There was a movie called Gandhi. I don't like Gandhi at all, but I remember it since I was a kid. There was a scene where he was with this white boy, and he was helping him along the way. So when Gandhi finally got to that certain goal, he goes, "Oh, sorry, man. This is only for what the Indians can do. You can't. This is where you stop. We separate from here."
Right. Even in this video, and I'm going to go to Only Next. Even in this video that we watched, there's a cartoon that was a meme there where the black kid gives the white boy a boost up to a certain high place, and after the white boy gets up there, he's like, "Nah, you got to stay down there." Like I don't trust these folks at all. But Oni, you want to add something?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the things is I think I wrote in one of my books about the science of allies or something, right? But like the reality is that you cannot ally with a stronger person because when you ally with stronger people, they are going to control you. So like Mr. Untouchable was talking about Cuba sending its soldiers or whatever, right? Like Cuba probably can do that, and you might not really suspect much. But the reality is this: that if there is like a Chinese push for Pan Africanism, right, or there's a Russian push for Pan Africanism, or even there's an American like state-backed push for Pan Africanism, there's something else going on, you know. And so realistically, that's one of the issues with us as a people is that we're seeking alliances before we actually develop the power to actually have meaningful alliances, because no matter what, it's like what happened to that lady. I one time did this on the Enemies Within, when this woman and like has this white ally thing, right? Or I think the program was called No White Allies or something like that, something stupid, a stupid name like that. But the person controlling the finances was a white woman, and because she was in that position already, she was able to push this black woman out of the organization that the black woman allegedly founded, and that's really what it comes to. It's like if you are seeking allies from the jump before you even have yourself together, you are just going to be used, And I think you guys talked about that last week with the like with the lady in the trap, no, the lady and the Asian boy. But it's just a matter of you have to have your stuff together before you have allies. And then when you have your stuff together, right, allies don't mean nothing. It's like, so one of the first things, I'll just try to be brief. One of the first things I put in this last book of Power or whatever, was this fake speech by Nzinga, right? Basically, I just made a speech trying to justify what she did, right? Because one thing that we know Nzinga did was she had, she made an alliance with the Dutch to fight the Portuguese, And so the question is, why would she do that? And, I try to make it so that she breaks down, well, like how realistically, if you ally with a weak person, right, against a strong person, the weak person can't turn on you, right? And you can weaken them by making them fight against the other person. Whereas what we're doing right now is we're seeking alliances with these strong ass white folk. And when you ally with these strong white folk, what they're doing is they're weakening you so that you can't ever come against them. And that's really what it comes to. If we start fighting China's battles, or we start fighting Russia's battles, or we start fighting America's battles, right? We can't fight China, Russia, or America, right? But if we're using, like, let's say weaklings, weaker states, Sri Lanka or whatever, right? We're using Sri Lanka and what have you. That sort of alliance where you're using these other people against, let's say we're trying to fight India, we're using Sri Lanka against India, that makes a lot of sense. But as long as we don't apply that sort of a science, right, then it's almost like we shouldn't even have that conversation. But realistically, you have to build your power base. Otherwise, you can't form alliances. Otherwise, you will only weaken yourself. That's all you're going to do.
Yeah, you'll be subsumed. Go ahead.
What I just wanted to make one statement before I go again. Well, last time, Miss Marcus Garvey, if you are interested in coming on, you can come on. You could just click the link. All your views, any views will be appreciated if you decide to come on or not. But I appreciate the fact that you came here tonight. By the way, my quote. Well, my statement is this to what Oni had to say. I kind of disagree with that because I'm reminded of a statement by Voltaire. He said that a perfect is the enemy of good. And what I mean by what I take from that is we are waiting for this perfect uniformity amongst our ranks of people. And I feel like that is, for me, I believe that is a unachievable goal. You know what I mean? I feel like we have to decide what is good, where we could get to a point to we have enough people to go forward and do the things we need to do. Wherever the shortfalls are, sometimes I believe that we may have to look outside of our ranks because uniformly most of our people are not interested in the idea of Pan-Africanism or what it means to be an African person on this planet. You know what I mean? And that's, to me, that's a reality. You know what I mean? They are raffling mentally with this old this old slave trade in their head what they can't kill. And if we wait for these people to be conditioned correctly, we'll wait forever. And sometimes you just need to move on. And we trying to achieve this perfect goal of uniformity. And I feel like that won't get us to where we need to be. That's just my opinion. And that's where I am with that,
I can agree with you that if we're waiting for this perfect goal of uniformity, we'll be waiting forever. I do think we just need to get the serious amongst us together, whatever number that is. I think I was listening to Brother Bakari on an older episode. Mr. Untouchable was on there, Forecast was on there, Tanzan was on there as well. It was titled Tariq Nasheed, Cynthia G, and the NYC mayor. And so something Bakari says in there, he said, give him his 400 people and he's good. Give him his 400 strong and he could go ahead and do something. And that's really what we got to be thinking about. Get our people, come up with a number. That's the number of people, and that's what we do. We just go ahead and do what we got to do. But I still believe, again, my personal belief is that it's along the lines of what Oni was talking about.
I know it's going to be a popular cuckoo. I know it's going to be a popular.
Yeah. It's just that, I just don't trust the outsider, especially the outsider who has more power and influence than we have right now. In the chat, Afro Native World says Gaddafi was originally Pan-Arab but got rejected, so he turned to Pan-Africanism. He goes on to say Pan-Africanism is also confused as continentalism, so that opens it up to anybody physically living on the African continent. The forecast is in the chat. He says, "LOL." I say we have the John Brown complex. Afro Native World Act forecast. If you read Urugu, good book. Marcus Garvey is the way to free mind. Says, "Good night, Mr. Untouchable. Great program so far." I saw Marcus Garvey posting some comments to a previous episode of Shoot the Breeze, so I was familiar with him. And again, you can.
It's a her.
Oh, it's a her. I'm sorry. You see, that's the thing. My bad. I didn't realize it was a her. But again, the link is there. You can join the panel. We like to get more. In fact, I'm glad to hear Marcus Garvey is the way to free mind is a her, because I like to have as many women voices as possible. We got the forecast says to Afro Native World. Now he'll look it up. Speaking about the book Urugu, you could actually check out the Pro Black Perspective does a reading. It's a series on that book, so you could check out the reading of that book as well on the Pro Black Perspective. Forecast in the chat says we have no friends. We have to be allies with each other before we worry about other people's help. Afro Native World says the book is a big recommend, etc. Marcus Garvey says true. It always takes it a small handful to proud change. She says Europeans brag their 300 from the movie changed the tide of the Persian War. Yeah, they always talk about that 300. Let's bring in the forecast. The forecast. How are you tonight?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everybody?
Yes, sir. Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Jay, your camera's on, Jay. I don't know if that matters to you or not. The forecast. What say you to all of this?
Well, like, I said earlier, a good brother of mine, he says like other people are more Pan-African than us because they see us as one big Negro, and we don't even see ourselves as that. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing to that, to the white allies thing, I would say, no, you got to be careful with that, because I mean, what person in their right mind, besides Black people, is going to put their own survival, their own protection and stuff over their own? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to. They have, especially a lot of them, have this mindset of they ever get into power, they may do to us what we did to them. Now, it may be a lot of them that don't like police shootings and stuff like that, but they're not going to want to, like, you having power, that's a whole nother thing. Like, they don't want to see this a system designed to protect them to come apart. And like, the last thing I'll say is like the NAACP is a good example, because it was founded by some Jewish people and W.E. Du Bois and Ida B. Wells. But like, Ida B. Wells was like one of the first people going against the NAACP, because she realized like they was on that whole people of color. Because if people don't realize, in whatever system, people of color, Marxism, whatever, Black people is on the bottom unless we are the ones creating that system. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pass the mic.
Absolutely, forecast. I used to talk about this a lot on the show some years back. Like, the difference between the liberal and the conservative is, the liberal is a little bit more bleeding heart. You didn't have to shoot him 60 times. You could take him out, but you ain't got to shoot him 60 times. You ain't got to kill a 12-year-old child. But they still want to be on top, though. You understand? They still want to be on top. So I'm always mindful of that. But I do respect what Mr. Untouchable was saying. Forecast, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I agree, and I agree with Mr. Untouchable. But like, we got to work with who willing to work. But like, I'll tell you, like this Black Lives Matter dude, and he was a white boy. He came on my show one time, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm all for this and all for that. I don't like to see black people." But then when I said, "Yo, what is Black Lives Matter doing with the money?" Well, I don't really know about that part of it. Oh, well, what are you doing with your money? Or like, what are you getting out of the deal? Well, I'm getting this deal with this newspaper, and I'm making money. Well, what are you doing with the money? Well, that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the liberal for you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But hear me out, brothers. Hear me out, brothers. If I want to become, let's say, a doctor, right? I would, or even if I wanted to learn how to speak English, regular things, wanted to go to high school. If a person from another race, right, could educate me in a way, I know they're not gonna educate me to one day dominate them, but they're going to educate me in a way that I could become a doctor. They're not going to educate me to out doctor them. That responsibility lies with me. So when I go home in the nighttime after the curriculum is over, I go study his information, but I gonna go research some information for myself, so I one day will be able not only to compete with him, but to outdo the knowledge that he has in his brain. But I gonna still have to go to him for assistance in trying to acquire or trying to be a nurse, a doctor, a teacher, or whatever. You know what I mean? So you gonna really you gonna still solicit the assistance. I'm saying that most people who are not from us, they're gonna educate us to a degree, not to be able to conquer over them, just to that point, to that point.
Hey,
But the onus is on us to further that information. You know what I mean? To make ourselves either competitive or better or dominate. That's where I am with it.
Hey, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go
Yo,
ahead.
because like just to answer that, yo, there's a difference between a tool and an ally. You can use something as a tool and not necessarily a ally implies, okay, they're gonna come have my back, I'm gonna go have theirs. You know what I'm saying? A tool is like, yo, this person knows how to fix cars, so I'm gonna go watch them and learn how to fix cars. You know what I'm saying? But then I'm gonna come back to my community and fix cars in my community. You know what I'm saying? But an ally would be, oh, I'm gonna learn how to fix cars so I can help you keep your business. No, I'm gonna learn how to do it, and then I'm gonna go bring it back to my thing. So I think it should be like a difference as like ally and a tool. You know what I'm saying? Because
Understood.
tools,
Understood.
yeah.
I appreciate that analogy, forecast. Tanzan says in the chat, I have distrust too. I could go into a whole story about being in college and taking some of those pre-med science classes and how these other groups actively shut you out. I'm sure Oni could probably talk about that as well. These other groups actively shut you out in those classes and sabotage you when they can. So I've learned personally from that situation. Who has their mic open right now? Is that Oni? Um, KW Don 7 says Cecil Rose was a Pan Africanist who saw African people as one big N word. And Tanzan earlier said, "Peace, brother Koku. I'm catching up." Always nice to see the ladies around, man. One of the things I'll say, just as a side note, when I tune in to Brother Bakari or I tune in to the forecast and I see or Gas Them Up and J and them, and I see like KW Don 7, I see Tanzan everywhere. Every show I show up on to check out, I see Tanzan. I know she's serious. I know KW Don 7 is serious. I know the same is true of Bobby E. Wright and a few others who are here, and some of the folks who are on some of these other platforms who I see come over here. I know that you're a serious person, so I really do appreciate when I see that. Let me drop the next prompt. Shooter Breeze topic number 3 tonight.